Hey everybody! Happy Friday. It's going to be a fun last Friday for Magic Week. Hope you guys had fun this week. We had a lot of really cool activities that I actually didn't know about for this week, so I hope you enjoyed it. Today we're going to be doing our last project for this week, which is a pop-out city. So this is the one that you need the least amount of materials and it's the least messy out of all the ideas. So you for sure need a white piece of paper, some scissors, which mine still has chalk on it from yesterday, a writing utensil. So that means like a pencil, crayons, markers, colored pencils. I'm going to use a regular pencil to start off with, and then I'm going to color with crayons later on and maybe some markers too. What we're going to be doing is making this picture that we're making into a 3D image. So to get us started, some things that you could use that would be helpful, but you don't have to have, an eraser, some tape, and a ruler. Now you don't have to have those things, but they would help you, especially if you're like a perfectionist, you want to have everything just precise. That might help you, especially if you're one of our younger students, okay? So to get us started, I have my piece of paper out. We're all ready to go. First thing I want us to do is fold it in half, corner to corner, and crease. You're going to do the same thing the other way now. I'm going to fold that in half. So it should be like a big old plus sign on your paper. Okay. See that plus sign? Perfect. Once you have both of those folded, now you want to get them as straight and even as possible because they are going to be helpful whenever we fold it to pop up later on. We want to go ahead and start making our outer lines. So we're actually going to do this. We're going to go find that middle of your paper and make a dot where both of those lines touch. That is your 1 point. That's where that name 1 point perspective comes from, because almost all the lines in your picture today are actually going to touch this one. So our first two lines are going to come from this dot all the way up to each of the corners. So I'm going to do that first. Good one. And two. You want to try to get them pretty straight. You don't have to get them perfect though. 3 and 4. Okay. See that? We got them. So what these are for, like I said, we're making a city. So we're going to need a horizon line since we're outside. Think about this. What does the horizon line do? We've been talking about the horizon line all year long in every grade level. What is a horizon line? What does it do? Think about that. If you need to pause your video here, do that until you figure it out. But a horizon line is the line that separates the ground from the sky. If you look anywhere, you'll see that horizon line. That's just the line that we're going to draw right on that fold we made. Separates the ground from the sky. So I know you probably can't tell right now, but this bottom triangle is going to be our road, and the side triangles are going to be our buildings. So to get a road down right on that line that we drew, you're going to draw little dash marks. Now you want them small in the background and big up top, those middle dashes that go in a road. You're just going to put them right on that crease, on that fold. Watch how I do that. Small. Oops. Not as small as I'd like it. I'd make it a little smaller. And they're slowly getting bigger. Perfect. See how they're really tiny in the back? Now I'm going to make them 3D by changing that line into a box. See how I'm doing that? I'm just making the two lines straight across and a line to connect it. Two lines straight across and a line to connect. Okay. Now if you look at your paper, this is fun because it looks like a road that's going way far back in the distance. That shows you how 1 point perspective works. It shows you that anything far away is small and anything close up is big. You probably remember this from our lessons. We've talked about this all the way even from our kindergartners. Remember that thumb trick I showed you where when you hold your thumb really far out, anything that you look at is going to look like it's really small next to your thumb if it's far away. If it's close to you, it's going to make it look like it's really big. Watch what happens when I get closer to you. I look pretty big, don't I? I take up a lot of room on your camera or on your screen. And then when I get farther away, I get smaller. That's just how it works. Whenever things are further away, they're smaller. Just like in 1-point perspective, it shows that anything close to the dot is going to be tiny, anything far away is not. So here's what we're going to do next is those buildings. Now, normally what you do in 1-point perspective is you would make those buildings all the way between these two lines. We're going to do that today. So check this out. I'm going to make tiny lines up close and wide apart lines as it gets further away. So I'm going to go small. Just want to go straight across. It's probably pretty good. See that? Can't really tell right now, but you will in a moment what we're doing here. So I'm going to do the same to the other side. Small, close. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do next with these buildings is decorate them. So normally, if you were leaving this as a flat picture, you would decorate this as a whole building and you didn't need a horizon line back there. But since we're making it 3D, we actually don't need anything between the bottom two lines. So down here, don't worry about it. You can scribble. It doesn't matter. That's not going to be in your picture later on. I was just showing you so you knew how one perspective works. So I'm going to draw the insides of my buildings here. Maybe if you want to do yours, the different tops are actually going to be different as well. Like you might be able to do, maybe this one has a curved top. Maybe this one has a little point thing on the top. Just don't go above this line. So you can decorate those houses, maybe add like a door or some different fun windows. Okay. Maybe you have some stores. Maybe you have some, maybe you need some signs that tells you what's inside those buildings. Okay. Now I don't want to waste all of our time decorating, so I'm going to show you what the next steps are. The next steps are actually going to be cutting when you're done decorating all your houses, and I would actually color it too if you could. That way you don't get off the paper later on. We're going to use that middle fold and fold our paper from here to here. And we're going to cut that line that's on the top of our buildings. Now, if you did it right, those lines should line up perfectly on both sides. So that line on top of the building is going to get cut. So it should almost look like a big M shape, like the letter M. Okay. Next is the trickiest part. We want to make our horizon line touch our road line. Now, how do we do that? It's kind of hard. I'm just going to put one finger on the dot and then some other hands over here. If you have a second person helping you, it really does help. And I'm going to fold it so that those lines touch. And I know because I have my fold here, my fold that we already made. And when I look down at my paper, I'm pushing that end of the fold right here to line up with that line. So I can see this fold was right here. That's where my fold's at. And I'm making that touch this line. So I'm just pulling it down, making it touch. Now I'm going to wait to fold it to make sure that it goes all the way back to my dot. There we go. Then I can push down. And what I'm going to do next, if you have that tape, if you want to tape it, now would be the time to do that. And you just put it right here. You're going to hold down with one hand and pull up with another so that right at this fold that you already made, your buildings touch your road. Doesn't that look cool? Now your buildings stand up. You can do the same to the other side. So I'm going to just make it easier for you to see that fold. I'm going to crease it a little bit. Okay. I'm going to fold it so that my horizon line touches my road line. Fold. See, making them line up. One finger on the dot. Push it down this way. Always push it out this way. If you push it in, then it'll be a little bit crooked and crazy. All right. Okay. Now let's fold it over. I'm going to pull up. So I have one hand back here when I'm pulling up right by that line. The other hand's pushing. Look at that. It looks like my buildings are going way far away. It's like a magic trick. It's just showing you that those buildings are way in the distance. Look how tiny they are. They're all the way back here. It's like you could actually drive a car on your road and it would go all the way to the back. Now, some other things that you can do to make it a little bit more realistic is to, like I said, tape and also to cut off these extra triangles if you wish. So what I'm going to show you is I'm going to cut these just from this line up and this line back. Just going to cut that triangle out on the edge. You don't have to do this step, but it does make it look a little bit more finished at the end. Okay. I'm actually going to use my tape now, just to help it stay down a little bit. Just going to tape it like this end in. Same on the other side, find that triangle and cut it out. I'm going to show you some coloring tips before we go to, just because it's easier to figure out with some help. Okay, so we got our cities made. Definitely want to color them. If you want to just color them in black and white, it'll give it a cool look. You could try that. But I do suggest making sure that people can see that, you know, you worked really hard in making this look realistic. So whenever you color, you don't want to color right and left for this one. You actually want to color from the dot out. So watch how I do that. I'm going to sort of pull these out of my way. Like I said, you'd want to color before you do all the cut and folds, but I'll show you it now. I'm actually going to take my black and I'm going to color away from the dot. It's like a fan. I'm like turning and drawing. That way those lines that you're drawing make it look just a little bit more realistic. Now when you get close to the edge, you can go right and left. But if I color this way, it's going to look a lot more realistic, more like a road. See how it really looks like you're going back into space, like this is really thick, when really it's just a flat road. It looks like you're going way far back. But if you color right and left, which I'm going to show you here, it's not going to make it look as realistic. It doesn't look as good as my other one over here. Now, you obviously don't have to color it in black. You can do other designs too. If you are, I'd say, maybe third grade and up, like third grade knows we learn how to do, we learned already how to do brick. You could do like a brick ground. You could do grass. You could do, make this road instead into like a river. There's plenty of different fun options. So see how this one just looks really nice and finished. And this one looks sort of sloppy and flat. See the difference? Just looks really cool. Here's one of my pieces that I almost have finished. I use this as a test and a way that you can use some of this extra paper of what you cut out in the background if you wanted to make something fun. Like since it's Magic Week, maybe it would be super fun for you to make Hogsmeade or Hogwarts from Harry Potter. If you're a Harry Potter fan like me, I made mine super fun. This is a finished, almost finished piece. I do think I'm going to color in these shops and stores eventually, but look how cool it looks. It really looks like it's going back into space. Also, I'm not going to tell you, but anybody know what movie this might be from, this idea that I made? If you do, put it in the comments on your Google Classroom. I want to see who knows what they're doing. Also, look at some of these details I added. Like think about what houses have. and what buildings have. This one I have a really cool like deck area with a doorway. I have some big windows. I have some crazy windows, vertical, horizontal, different shape. I have a clock on a building. This one has like a stained glass effect, and they get really small as they go back. And then I have this big part that I taped on the back. If you do want to add something like this, all I did was I cut out a small piece like this, folded it in the middle, and then I taped that right here on my fold. Or you could glue. If you got a glue stick, that would be helpful. Got to hold it for a little bit though. So I want to see who knows what movie this is from. Go ahead and put that on your Google Classroom and use some of my ideas. You can use a couple of them, but make sure you make it your own. Like I made this a theme from a movie and a book. You can go ahead and do the same thing. Think of your favorite movie book. Think of a magical land that you maybe have a design before for your picture. You can do it however you wish. It's your artwork. Okay. All right, guys, I have a fun theme again for next week. I won't share that just yet, but I'm super excited. I hope you guys are too. I will see you later. Hopefully I'll see some really fun pop-out cities on our Google Classroom soon. Okay. Bye, guys. Have a wonderful week. We'll see you soon. Bye.